Hey guys and gals, thanks for watching. I want to make a video about something I've been thinking about in the last couple of days in this whole Albert Einstein thing. Um, it's been on my mind because it's just it's just a funny and interesting topic in itself. It puts me in an awkward situation of having to defend somebody that maybe have said something that's questionable. I agree, but let's just push back here for a moment and then analyze a little bit of what's going on. So he made some. So Albert Einstein had some diaries that came out that he wrote. I believe it was between the period of 1922 and 1923, where he went to Asia and I believe some other parts of the world, and made some observations. Right, some of them, some of them that you can definitely find questionable for modern standards. Right. Definitely. Some of you reading them, I'm reading them, and I'm like, okay, all right. I I can see why this might make some people squirm a little bit. But the thing is, what I've observed is, it doesn't seem like he was talking about race in terms of phenotypes or physical characteristics. Yeah, maybe there was some other things that maybe dived into a little of that, but the crust of what he was saying seems to have been cultural commentary, not racial inferiority, superiority that you associate with, classical racism. I mean, like KKK, Aryan Nation, Nazi stuff. It wasn't that kind of thing. It was observations about cultures, and then maybe it was observations about cultures that maybe weren't in a positive light, but it was his observation. Now, you have to understand, he also said these things before World War II, before the Holocaust, before before the full nature of segregation and Jim Crow was obvious to everybody. I mean, this was a time before all of that stuff came out. Because what I'm trying to make a point is that it also seems like he had a change of heart. Because if you go back and look at if you look at things that he's talked about when it comes to race, especially before he died. I mean, this is a man that once said at a college that was the first college to give degrees to African Americans, is that racism is a disease of white people. Now, I don't know how many bigots I know would say something like that. It could have just been that he did make some questionable comments in a period of his life where he wasn't as enlightened as everybody was afterwards, right? So you have to factor that into the whole conversation before just giving him a new label of racist or his racist comments. It doesn't have that evolution of the man himself. So before we jump to conclusions here, we just take a pause and then before we get into our positions about the whole thing, we need to just keep calm and look at this a little bit more deeply. Because if we take our standards the standards that we have for our modern day and go back into history, I mean, most of our heroes and most of the peoples we've looked up to or admire are not going to make it if we knew what they said in that period of time or thought in that period of time. So this is all part of this. Maybe it seems to be a part of this whole recreational outrage thing that's going on these days, where it's just easy to be offended, and it seems like we need to go back into history to get offended. Because I'm not sure, were these diaries just something that just came out recently, or were they always just around and now we're all just talking about it now? I mean, anyways, I'm just saying, folks, we just to the powers that be that are creating these headlines and making these statements, there needs to be a little bit more nuance in the argument here, because it's just disingenuous to paint somebody to reduce somebody to just such a to just such a small thing based on something they said in maybe in a questionable part of their lives. That's my 2 cents about the whole thing. Don't hesitate to. I'm curious to know what some people think about this. I mean, it's interesting for me as a black man too, and as a minority and somebody who I got no zero tolerance for racism and discrimination myself. I mean, I don't have to go into that, to having to defend somebody in their comments, but I have to be rational about this whole thing. But anyways, please, if y'all keep it clean and keep it rational and keep it clear. If you want to make a comment, please make a comment. I am interested in to know what you all have to think about, what you all think about this, because I'm interested. We need to start a debate about this and talk about these things, because I think this kind of thing it's just too easy to get out of hand. Anyways, thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Peace for now. Take care.